Hello everyone, my name is Nargis Nasreen and in today's video we are going to talk about data types. So data type basically represent the type of data that we are storing, and we are going to talk about a string data type today. So let's take an example. Let's see that if I have a table, okay, I have a table, and inside that table I have different columns, okay. I have different columns, and in one of the columns I have to store the names of different person. Okay, I will be storing names. So names are collection of letters, right? So I will be storing names. So like let's say John or James, any names that we are going to store. So these are of string data type. Okay, these are string data type. And it's not like we can only store letters inside a string. We can store digits, we can store symbols, blank space can also be used in a string format. It's just that we cannot perform any calculation on them. Like if you're storing numbers and that is of type of string, you cannot perform any calculation like addition or subtraction, any type of calculation. We cannot do that. Okay, because once you store anything in the form of string, it will simply represent that it is conveying some kind of text message. Okay. Now, now the thing is, string data type, you might somewhere see alphanumeric data type. So these terms are kind of same. We can call them like if I'm going to write down, let's say this name that is called as James. So I will say James is a string data type, or I can say alphanumeric type. Alphanumeric. Okay. Now, there are different types that are present in a string data type. Let's talk about all those one by one. So let's start with the first one, which is character data type. Okay. We represent it with char. We write char, it's char. Now, in char data type, what type of data we can store? So let's say that I am going to use char data type, and I am going to mention that the number of characters that I will be storing in this is 5. Okay. So let me give you one example before here. Let's take this, that if I'm going to write down these two names, so I'm going to write down a string. This is a string, and the name is John, and the name is James. Okay. If we are considering that one symbol is equal to 1 byte, like one symbol is taking 1 byte of space, we are considering this. Okay. So what is going to happen? So the length of our name is here 4, and here the length is 5, right? Because we have 4 characters in John and 5 characters in James. So what is the size? So we have considered that one symbol is equal to 1 byte. So the size is obviously going to be 4 bytes here and 5 bytes here, right? Fine, simple. So let's continue with our character data type that will be presented with char. And let's say I have mentioned in my SQL that I will be using this character data type, and the number of the size is going to be 5. That is, I can store maximum 5 symbols. Okay, like I can store any, like I can store John, I can store James, I can store Bob, any name which is less than or equal to 5, right? But here what happens, the problem is with the char is that it is kind of fixed. The storage is kind of fixed. Let's see, uh, let's take one example. Again, the name example. So if I'm going to store a name called as Bob and another name called as James. So we know that the length here is 3 and length here is 5. So Bob should take 3 bytes of space and James should take 5 bytes of space. But no, when we use character data type and we mention the size, no matter what the length is, the size storage is going to be 5 bytes only. Okay, so the moment you are going to make like use any kind of data using character data type, the size is fixed. You cannot change that. This is also going to take 5 bytes and 5 bytes. So here what we see that this is just wastage of memory. Okay, right? Because we are wasting 2 bytes of memory here, even though we just need 3 bytes, right? So now we have another type of data type inside string, which is called as varchar. Okay. So in varchar, what happens? We write down varchar and we mention the size. Let's say again 5. So it is not fixed. It is variable. Okay. So you might have understood already. So if I'm going to take same example, that is Bob and James. If the length of this is 3 and length of James is 5, so it will take 3 bytes only. Not less, not more. It will take 5 bytes. Okay, so this is the benefit of using varchar. Okay, now the third one is enum. Now enum is used to store single character. Now, like when can we use, when we will need this, like when can we store, like why do we need to store single character only? So no, there's few places where you will be storing single character, let's say in the form of gender. You will not be writing the whole word that is male and female, right? You can just display it with M and F. So in that case, we'll be using enum. So there are so many examples of this that you can go through. Now, next thing that we are going to talk about, that is the maximum size that is present for character data type is 255 bytes. Okay, like we can see the memory limit also. And in varchar, we have, this is kind of more than that, that is around 65,535 bytes. So if we compare these two, we get to know that varchar is better in everything. In the terms of like we can store more data in this, there is no memory wastage, right? So why do we need char then? Like why is it even a data type inside a string? Can't we just remove it? No, we cannot do that. Why? Because there is one thing that there is one we can say point which is better than varchar for char. That is the speed. Varchar is much fast. Char is much faster than varchar, around 50%. So I will write it here. Let me use a different color so that you can make a note also that char is around 50% faster than varchar. And we know that how much speed is important when we do any kind of programming thing, right? Speed is very, very important, right? Because if we are writing so many lines of code, so in that case, we need our task to be done quickly. So in that case, CAD is very much useful. So like if we have to give an example, like where we need CAD, because sometimes what happens, it's not like I will, in one column I will be storing fixed amount of characters. Yeah, but there are some scenarios where we need it. Like let's say you have to store some kind of code. Like you have a column. Let's say you are working in a company. Like I am storing the name. This is serial number. Let's say 1, 2, 3, and so on. Okay, and here we are going to write down company code. Company code. And the maximum limit is 3. Like not limit, the size limit is 3 only, not less, not more than 3 characters. So in this case, we'll be using char. Like let's say I'm going to write down Amazon, so you'll be writing AM. For Meta, you will be writing MET. So you can only store 3 characters. Okay, not more, not less. So in this case, we'll be using char data type, right? Because it will be faster. Okay. Now, when we will be using varchar, so just by the name itself, you can understand that varchar is used to store like let's see, when we have to store, let's take this example. That is what we can take. User's password. Okay, I have another column here for password, and you have said that okay, the size limit is 10. Okay, like you can store less than 10 also. It's not like it is fixed to 10. You can store 5 to 10. Okay, let's say the range is 5 to 10. So what's the benefit here? Like if someone is storing a password that is of length 5, so it is fluctuating. Like the varchar is variable type of data, right? So it will take 5 byte of space only. We are considering one symbol as 1 byte. And if someone is storing a password which is of 7 characters, it will take only 7 bytes. Okay, so the size limit is 10 bytes, but it is not fixed. Okay, so in that case, we'll be using varchar. So yeah, like everything is important. We should know we should have to know about the right purpose of it. So this is where how we use char and varchar. Okay. So next thing that we are going to talk about is I think we are pretty much done here. But still, if you get any question, you can ask me in the comment. And in the next video, we'll be talking about different type of data type that is integer, which is again very much important. And yeah, this is all about string data type. And yeah, if you get any questions, write it down in the comment section. I will answer it. And thank you so much for watching this video. Have a nice day. Take care. Bye-bye.